So, to start off tonight, I just want to put a question to you. Who has ever had a teacher or a mentor that said something and it's just stuck in your mind? Just put your hand up if you've had something that's just stuck in your mind. Excellent. So, just a little story. In 1999, a wise mentor said something that has always stuck in my mind. And it goes something like this. Fear is the path to the dark side, for fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. All right. And just in case you're not already on it, that was this guy. And some would say that's Pastor John's twin brother. But I don't know for sure because he is over 900 years old, so there is a bit of a similarity. So now that you've all got a picture of fear in your head, where it takes you, I just want to bring up another thought now. A sound mind. So, in 2 or 3 words, has anyone got a description of what they think a sound mind is? Anyone? Any hands? What someone might think a sound mind is? Did I see? Isaac had a hand. Yeah, Isaac? All right. Someone had a hand over here. Jackie? Quiet. That's Haim. Counterweight. Jenna. What's that, sorry? Clear, yep. Calm and rational. That all sounds very reasonable to me. So some of the things I had was a sound judgment, self-control, calmness, and level-headedness. These are just some things that you can find that describe a sound mind in the Bible. So, we know what a sound mind is. What would oppose that? Does anyone got? I know we just defined it, but what specific things can we think opposes a sound mind? Anyone? Yeah, Athena? Anxiety. Bella? Yep. Confusion. Negativity. Yep. Doubt. Double-minded. Yep. And clouded. All right, they're all very good descriptions, and it's good that you can bring up these own images in your head. So some of the things you can find are foolishness, having an unbalanced mind, thinking unreasonably, unsound, and some would simply say you've just lost the plot or lost the marbles or whatever the saying goes. So now I just want you to keep these pictures in your head as we go through the rest of this presentation as to what a sound mind is and what it shouldn't be. So in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 we read, "For God has not given us a spirit of fear." And as we saw before, the reason he would not give us a spirit of fear is because it is a dark path that only takes us one way. So instead of the spirit of fear, he's given us a spirit of power and of love and a sound mind. So God is very deliberate in what he has and has not given us. So if we take that even further, the spirit of power is a miraculous power, and that the word miraculous means it is straight from God. The same spirit that created this earth and raised Christ from the dead is within us, and it's easily accessible for us to use whenever we want, whenever we need. So just let that sink in for a second. That Almighty Spirit is just always there with you. And in Romans chapter 15, verse 19, Paul wrote, "Through mighty signs and wonders, by the power of the Spirit of God, so that from Jerusalem and round about unto Greece, I have fully preached the gospel of Christ." So, even in Paul's description, he's written, through mighty signs and wonders, through the power of God's Spirit. So I don't know what else can describe what the Spirit means to us. And he wrote from Jerusalem to Greece. He fully preached the gospel. And that's our aim, isn't it? That's why we're on this earth, is to preach the gospel all around. And we have to show our spirit of power to the rest of the world. So the next point was love. So God showed his love to us by sending his only Son, letting him die for us, and in turn we are asked to show love to one another. And in 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, we can read, "He that loveth not knoweth not God, for God is love." And if we continue, it says, in this was manifest the love of God towards us, because he sent his only Son on this world that we might live through him. So God has given us just the ultimate amount of love that no one can ever reach. And so what he encourages us to do further on in verse 18, it says, for perfect love cast out fear. For fear is torment, and where fear exists, perfect love cannot exist. So we have to make sure that we are casting out the fear of this world through having the love of God shown through us and showing it to everyone around us, whether it's our brothers and sisters or even our enemies. We have to show the perfect love of Christ through that. And finally, we see a sound mind, which we've already gone through. And you've all got those pictures in your head of what a sound mind is. And it is to help fight off confusion of this world. And we must maintain things like a sound judgment, self-control, calmness, and level-headedness, because if we have any fear or confusion in our lives, as we saw what Master Yoda said, it takes us down a dark path, and fear only leads to suffering. And we're not a people of suffering, are we? No, we're the children of God. And then to continue on from that, God holds us in a high standard. Our testimonies are a high standard to the rest of the world. And so the only way we can uphold our testimony and show it to others is by having a sound mind and a clear judgment. And we know that we are constantly encouraged to do this by praying, reading the Bible, even just talking about the things of God with other people, other brothers and sisters, just constantly feeding on the positive love that God has given us. And so, in 1 Peter chapter 1, we can also read, "Wherefore, gird up the loins of your mind." Now, it's interesting, Peter's deliberately said not to gird up the loins of your body, because in the end, who cares what happens to your body? Isn't it? He's deliberately said, gird up the loins of your mind, because your mind is what the world wants. They don't care about this mortal body because it's going to disappear. They want to take your mind. So Peter has said that we need to protect it and be sober, to have clarity in what we do, and if we continue, and hope to the end for the grace that has been brought unto you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So, just to sum up, we have to have a sound mind that we have to constantly protect from this world. We must be sober and have clarity in what we do, and only through that will we see the return of Jesus Christ. And we'll leave that there.